your host, Samantha Stone, and we have two wonderful opportunities in the community to dig into a little bit this week and talk about how we can connect with our fellow residents. And I'm really excited. We're going to start off with my mom, who is not here because she's my mom, but I'm really glad Diane Cinto is joining us to talk about the gun violence vigil. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you, hon. Thank you very much.
I got to use your name. I don't really get to ever do that. It felt really wrong coming out of my mouth. I just want to go on record.
I allow it.
So the vigil that this is, oh gosh, I don't know. You'll correct me. Maybe the fourth year that the vigil has happened. It's always a really beautiful service and a wonderful way to support people in our community who have been victims of gun violence. In lots of different ways. So I always make time to attend. Tell us a little bit about what's happening this year.
Okay, so basically it's Sunday and it's on December 3rd. And this year we will have begin with an opening remarks, okay, that will be welcoming community. It will be Mayor-elect Concannon. It will be Representative Haggerty. And it will be Senator Friedman. Do you want me to continue about the vigil itself? Would that help?
Yeah, so definitely, because I think it is, while it's held at the Methodist Church on the center of Woburn, it isn't a Methodist service and it is open to everyone in the community. So keep going.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what we're gonna have this year is that the vigil program, this is the 11th year. It's since Sandy Hook shootings. And so it began then, and then it evolved into the all survivors and all victims of gun violence. And what we're having this year is two main speakers. And the main speakers are, I always check, Arlene Evans Mara King. And her daughter, Shannon Lee Mara, is a victim of gun violence. Her life was taken by an ex-boyfriend. And so Arlene's going to talk about her daughter. She's going to talk about memories she had from a young life that was taken early. But then she's going to talk about a foundation she began. And that foundation is at the high school. It's Team Mara. And what it is a dating and a domestic violence program that high school students are involved, and they will be there. And one of the Mara team members, his name is Luke Sheldon, he will introduce her. And then after that, we're going to have Jenna Francis. Jenna is a life coach. She's a Mom Demand Action volunteer. Using her background, Jenna's going to talk about how we cope with gun violence without giving up hope. And then we have Amy Cardoso, a teacher and an advisor to the Embrace Club. And Amy's going to read a passage from a mother of the victim, and her name is Anna Grace. Anna Grace was 6 years old at Sandy Hook when her life was taken. And her mom did a narrative memory about Anna Grace. So I asked Amy to read that. And then Amy's going to introduce Embrace students who are going to name our local survivor and local victims of gun violence. And then they're going to give a moment to explain why gun violence prevention is important to them. So that's basically, and yes, that's basically, and I don't know if you want to know about the color green, I could explain that.
Absolutely, I would. I just want to comment that it really is a very touching service. We've had, obviously the speakers are different at different years, but it's a beautiful service and it's a really wonderful way. And, you know, we recently had, luckily, I don't think anyone was hurt, but an armed robbery at one of our restaurants here in Woburn recently. So unfortunately, we're reminded quite regularly that we're not immune, as everyone is, unfortunately. And so this is a great opportunity to keep hope and support those who have had folks who they've lost or been injured, and be there for each other in a new way. Now, I know the color green is a special significance. Of course, you can come in any clothing that you'd like, but wearing green is another way to participate and show your support. Tell us what makes that color special for this vigil.
Well, Sandy Hook colors are green and white. And so the color green became the color that they used to show support at the beginning with Newtown, Connecticut, the families. And then now color green means the promise of hope and change for the future. So when people come into the service, for those who can make it, each person will get a green, I think, mesh bag. Inside is a ribbon, just like mine. Everyone will get one. A tea light candle during our moment of silence, which is 120 seconds, because 120 lives are taken each day by gun violence. And the candy cane is to remember the families, the hardest time for families during holidays. And so that's the color green meaning.
Thank you for that. And just as a reminder, you mentioned, so it's Sunday, and what time does it start?
Okay, it's 4 o'clock, and it's at the, I always say this wrong, but the Woburn United Methodist Church, and that's at 523 Main Street. But we do have live streaming. So for those who can't come, you can watch it on their Facebook page. And also for those people who are concerned about how do you get upstairs to the vigil, there is an elevator. And if you go to the side street, Harlow Court, then you can be dropped off there and find access to the local elevator.
That is a very good reminder, because there are stairs to go up otherwise. So thank you for reminding us that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your help in organizing. I know this is done in support of a lot of other people who help contribute to the programming and such, and we're excited to see all of them in December, and look forward to honoring people in this special, very touching way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Bye now.
Next up, I'm excited to invite Kathleen back to the show. For someone who told me she will never do an interview, I got her twice. I consider this a victory.
Definitely a victory, because a lot of things I do, I like to do like privately, so people don't know those are the best things, But
I really appreciate you joining me, all joking aside, because a lot of work goes into the holiday season and supporting families, and holidays in Wooville has felt like it's been around forever now, because it's become a bit of a tradition.
Year,
but remind us how this all got started.
Well, I used to do a lot of like smaller things, the giving tree at the church and things like that. And then during the pandemic, when it first started, and all of a sudden everybody was in a panic, everything got shut down. And the first post I saw, somebody asked for Easter. And they said they needed to tell their kids that it was quarantine, the Easter Bunny couldn't come, they lost their job, whatever. And my daughter and I, this is how she became an honorary bunny, and she started transitioning. She was 11 at the time. So she learned a lot about that. We put a post, and we had 77 baskets that we gave out. And it was just her and I. The whole town was deserted. We got to drive around, just her and I, and it was real fun. But then Christmas was coming, and, everybody was not working. Everybody was stuck at home. And, and I'm not a person who stays still, and I ran the food pantry on Montville Ave for about 5 years at the time. So I had a lot of people coming in going, what are we going to do? And those numbers were increased, and we had 20 people. We were up to 150 people coming in every week looking for food help, And so then one night I was like, let me try this. And I just went on and I opened a page, and it was magic. It just kind of made it up on the spot. And people, I said, if you need help, let me know. If you want to help, let me know. And I was making lists, and as soon as I put them up, people are fighting over them, going, I'll take this one, and it, like the sponsorship part. So I think that's half the fun, is
I think it's such a special treat. And for those who maybe are new to the community or didn't participate, really what we're talking about is Kathleen collects nominations of people who need help supplying holiday gifts for their children, whatever that holiday that they celebrate is. And matches it to Woburn elves who do a little shopping and donate those gifts.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say that, oftentimes they're looking for a winter coat or a hat or a sweater, and certainly there are toys and other gifts that are on that list. But, it really reminds us about how important it is to help, support people's basic necessities. And this is another great way to do that. And it's really
very true.
rewarding to do. Tell us a little bit about who we serve in this, and if they haven't yet applied, are you still taking applications? And
I am still taking applications. The first year anybody who messaged got help, and that was that. And it just worked out the way it did. We've to date helped over 1,000 kids have had Christmas in the last 3 years. So this is going to be a really big year. And so I started transitioning once school opened and stuff. I started going into the schools and stuff like that. And I just finished posting my list from the Shamrock. I work with Donna at the Shamrock, and she gives me kids that are in need. And we all try to identify the most vulnerable of our population and try to get those families. And coats is a big thing, because a lot of the kids, they'll come in a t-shirt in a blizzard, so that's a lot of it. My kids growing up, I needed help along the way as a single mom, and so I tend to feed off the things I needed to help see where things are needed going forward. And so right now I have the Shamrock done, and I'm working on the list I have from the pantry, and I have a number of people just messaging me asking if, can I get on your list? And I always say I can't make any promises because I don't know how many sponsors there are, but I'll do my best. And so far everybody's sponsored that's on the page right now, so it works out. It's really magic.
It's such a lovely way. And, obviously it's anonymous. We don't know who we're serving exactly, but you typically know the ages, and there's usually a specific list of requests that have come in from the guardian or adult in that person's life who is it. So that the things that you get are going to be meaningful for the people who are receiving them. And so things are already off. It feels like the holidays are kind of far away, but not very. We have the Festival on the Common coming up this Saturday to sort of kickstart the holiday season with the tree lighting and all the fun things that happen in the center. For those folks who want to be an elf and help out, how do they get in and grab, or not, say, hey, raise their hand to say, I'm happy to sponsor someone?
Well, as soon as I have the list, each post that I make identifies a specific child, and that gives their age, if they need a coat or not, what their specific wishes, things like that. And then you can come on the page. It's Christmas. Right now it's holidays in Woburn. And if you log into the page and you just send me a private message, you let me know you're there, you're, in the shadows or whatever. If you're looking to sponsor a child, as soon as I post one, if you're interested in that child, you just comment and say, I'll take this one. And hopefully you're the first one. Because I, like I said, I've had people go, no, and they miss it. And so I try to post a list all times of day and night to make it fair to people who are working days or working nights or whatever the case may be. So everybody has a chance. And then I have I'm going to be posting tonight a list on the top of, like, if you can't do an entire list, if you don't want to get your office involved, if you want to do something small, that like gift cards and things like that, like some of the kids like the Roblox gift card or something like that, or something to Target or for the teenagers, and so they can do gift cards as well. And then I'll have something pinned to the top tonight that will identify the smaller things we can do, but it turns out to be a really big deal. And it's, I've had like the Kiwanis Club. I'm going over to pick up my puzzles, and I'll be giving
love that puzzle.
The Woburn puzzle. I try to give those to the teens with gift certificates and stuff like that. So I'll be hopefully, hitting them up for my puzzles. Looking forward to everything. Christmas is my time. So I
Well, thank you for giving us a way to help each other out. Another way that's easy and fun. And for those folks who, early in the list being updated, they do go really quickly. And sometimes it's like, I can't find someone. But, as the list gets longer and we get closer to the holidays, don't give up, because there's folks that will be coming in, and it'll get a little bit easier to get on to claim someone, because there won't, people have already made some claims. So.
Right. Definitely. It works out well, and if you're waiting, just there will be somebody. If you want to sponsor, I can give you a child. Sometimes that list is longer but it ends up balancing in the end, so it works out.
Excellent. Well, Kathleen, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you having me on, now I'll go back to the shadow.
Well, I think it's really important for people to see the faces. And the reason I do that, honestly, is not to embarrass anyone ever, but to remind us that, if you have an idea and you are willing to do it, like kind of magical things can happen. And I think this is a really good example of something that sort of spurred and was inspired by a time in our history and you and your daughter wanting to help in some way. And it took off. And so, we can
had
all
a
make
lot
those
of
kinds of
fun.
changes.
Yeah, it's incredible. And anybody with an idea can, make it grow, and that's exactly what we did,
Now I know I actually thought of one other question I want to ask before I let you go. So I know there have been questions about should I wrap gifts, unwrap gifts? I know when I've done it in the past, I think I've tried to give wrapping paper so the
Yeah.
adult can see what's there and feel a part of the process of gifting their child a little bit as well. But sometimes wrapping them ahead is helpful. What do you recommend families do?
Honestly, when I have people ask me, that's one of the main questions that I get is, do we wrap? And I always say it's the elves' choice, because I've had positive feedback. I've never had any negative feedback. Sometimes the parents like watching the kid open the gifts, so it's magic for both of them. Somebody did this for their family, and when they do wrap it, I ask for a little list of what's inside so that the parent knows, all right, we got that, or, maybe it's a demand gift that they didn't get or something. But so I tell them, and if you want to put just wrapping paper, that's fine too. If you just want a gift, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do. And I leave that totally to the elf,
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you again for joining us. And Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other.